Hiya. All right, so I do realize that I speak a lot better and I can stay more on track when I'm walking around. So now I'm going to experiment with different rooms in the house. So something's been coming up for me. Well, it just comes up all the time, and I think it comes up for a lot of people, but they don't really recognize that they're doing this. So manifesting. We all kind of think about it in our own, way. What we think about, we bring about. What you put out, you get back in. We have all kinds of adages and idioms for it and all that good stuff. But I don't think that we've really taken into consideration just how that works. I cannot stand the concept of hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Just think about that. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That doesn't even make sense. If we're going to believe that whatever we think about, we bring about, then why in the world would we try to put our energy into two opposing channels? And I'm not talking about like channels that are just right, side by side, kind of synonymous. I'm talking about one is going left and one is going right. One's going up, one's going down. It is going to be near impossible, I would say, for us to be able to fully immerse ourselves in one channel or the other. And that leaves us with a sense of feeling torn, feeling confused, feeling like we're being pulled in both directions at the same time. Like we need to just scream and push everything and everyone away from us so that we can kind of get some clarity or some peace of mind. But what we don't really realize is that we're probably responsible for that feeling, just by how we're thinking about things. I totally understand the whole concept of wanting to be prepared, if something should go wrong, but that's just it, is that there's things that are going to go wrong all the time. There's things that are going to go right all the time. And if we're hoping for the best, I want to challenge you. What does that even look like for you when you're hoping for something? Is it just a wish, a wishful thinking? Is it a thought that crosses your mind? And then you're kind of like, you douse it in doubt, and we're like, yeah, well, that would be great, but yeah, buts. That's another video, because I know a lot of yeah butters, and that ain't good for us, for anyone. But to invest your energy into two completely opposing channels, it just, for me at least, when I understand that evil spirit, that distraction, that anger, that aggravation, that frustration, those feelings are really, really intense. And maybe even more intense than the good feelings, but probably only because you haven't allowed yourself to really sink into that positive feeling yet, to really fully immerse yourself and see what the hell would I get out of this if I actually did believe that this was going to turn out how I would want it to turn out, or this is going to benefit me. Too many times, I hear, of course that would happen to me, or, I always get shafted, or I always get the shit end of the stick. And that's because you believe that you will. And so, yeah, you're 100% right. You keep proving yourself right all the time. I would challenge you to prove yourself wrong. If you think just because based on your experiences and things that you constantly go through, and it always kind of turns out where you're left with a problem, you don't really ever come to the solution. It's just one more thing to deal with that's standing in the way of where you're getting or where you're going. And that's exactly it. Is I spoke about this before, that if we continue to see these things as problems, that's exactly what they'll be. We'll constantly be in the mindset of, see, I told you, yeah, that turns out, but look at this, or that person's mad at me, or whatever, anything. You guys can understand. So for me, what I understand about that is it ain't easy to believe in the positive, because we are conditioned to see the problem and everything. We're conditioned to see differences and compare. Comparison is the thief of joy, and I fully believe that. When we're looking at something or someone else, we're usually boosting that thing outside of ourselves, and internally we're taking it as, I'm not good enough, I'll never get there. See, I don't deserve this because I would have it if I did. I've been thinking about it. I've been working on it. But are you really genuinely believing that you're going to get what you want, or you just kind of wishful thinking, all the while sprinkling your wishes or your dreams or your whatever, your manifestations, with doubt. You're pouring freaking salt and thinking like salt and pepper seasoning. You're just sprinkling it with doubt the entire time that you're trying to convince yourself that this can happen for you. And I would really challenge, if this is speaking to you and you kind of resonate with this and this is something that you do. I know that I do it, but I've been practicing, and it's pretty actually amazing what happens when you truly believe in one side or the other. We have experience, and most of us, if not all of us, have experience in dealing with negativity and bullshit and problems and hurdles and confusion and aggravation and irritation, la 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 la. I can go on forever. But not a lot of us have a genuine experience with diving fully into the positive side, what you want to see happen, how you want to feel about this, how you want to respond to this thing. We don't really fully dive into that because it's like you stick your toe in the water to just kind of see how it feels, and you realize it's cold. Like, what are you going to do then? Are you just going to tell yourself to fully dive in and walk all the way through? Or are you just now going to pace around the pool and think about how friggin' cold you just realized it was, and now you're going to try to, navigate your entrance into the pool some other way so that it doesn't shock you quite like it did your toe just now? If that even made sense to you guys. It made sense to me. But yeah, that's kind of what we do. We like tiptoe around the solution, kind of touching it, poking it, prodding it. Are you alive in there? And, when it doesn't grab us like negativity does, we're kind of like, yeah, see, that solution's sleeping. That ain't going to work for me. Who am I kidding? I can't get that. I can't do that. I can't say that. I can't have that. All what we're talking ourselves out of what we're trying to believe. And again, that leaves you with a feeling of feeling torn, feeling like incomplete, aggravated, frustrated. You're just as close to your goal, but yet you're farther away from it at the same exact time. We continue to put ourselves in a paradoxical situation. For what? For what? Because we're scared of not being prepared on how to handle when it doesn't come true for us. Well, I'll tell you something. We all have experience in dealing with shit that doesn't work out for us because it happens all the time. Because we call it to happen. And I would consider to, or I would challenge you guys to, try to, when you do dive into that good feeling, or at least to motivate yourself or encourage yourself to dive into the positive side, to what you do want to see happen, start to imagine, start to daydream, start to picture how will I know when I get what I want? What will be going on? What will I be feeling? Who will be in my life? Who will be out of my life? Because that shit happens too. Losing friends is growing up. And so really picture what it's going to look like so that when it does start to work out for you, you can begin to see the little signs that are saying, yes, you're headed in, the direction that you intend to be, that you really want genuinely to be heading in, that's going to give you back what you're giving out. Wishes, hopes. I can't imagine that anybody hopes for shit to happen to them. But we have it in the back of our mind, and most likely, it desires to be acknowledged and it wants attention. So it's going to try to continue to knock at your door. And the other thing that's coming to my brain right now is, yes, we might be able to believe it for a second and we can step into it and maybe see one little good thing happen, but then all of a sudden, here comes the rainstorm, or we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. That concept is no different than pulling yourself into opposing directions. If we're constantly, it's not like you walk around every single day with an umbrella because it might rain. It's kind of annoying, don't you think, if you had to do that? I mean, sure, it could rain, but you can figure it out if it does decide to rain that day. You don't need to prepare for battle every single day because you have experience in knowing that things aren't great for that long and that they're gonna turn to shit again soon. You'll get there if you get there. What about if things don't turn to shit? And what about if you start to see all these obstacles as stepping stones towards where you get to? I, for one, am a huge advocate for taking the scenic route. Shortcuts will kill everything. Shortcuts kill your resiliency. When we realize that we can take the shortcut out of things, we miss everything along, this is going to sound so hokey, but we miss everything along the journey that could teach us things that will benefit us when we continue on this journey. That sounded so basic, but whatever. I'm sweating. You guys, I'm glad you can't smell through the phone, because I smell like I'm talking about something exciting right now. Nothing new. But when we are allowing ourselves to get away with paradoxical thinking, we're really doing quite a bit of damage to our soul, to our purpose, to, I can't even think of the word, it's stuck right here, to our heart. How about that? To our heart. You can't love someone and hate someone at the same time. I know you think you can, but I would challenge you to ask yourself, do you really love that person or do you really hate that person? Because there's moments of influx of each emotion within that scale, but it kind of depends. No, it actually totally 100,000% depends on which side you're going to feed more. Which energy are you going to give more power to? Something that you do want to see happen, the positive, even though you might not have a lot of experience with positive things happening to you because you continue to shit on yourself mentally, and that comes to a reality because remember, your thoughts are the projector for your life. What you think about is what you see. So if you're constantly thinking that there's something that's going to knock you down once you get up, well, trust that thing is coming. But what about something nudging you forward when you stand up? What about something kind of pushing you? It's very uncomfortable, but how much experience do you have with it? How much experience do you really have with taking any little thing that happens throughout your day as a sign that you are being directed by your soul's purpose, the universe, whatever, God, whatever you want to call it? You're being nudged in the direction of your dreams. And, sometimes it's a little harder nudge than others. Sometimes you're really being like pushed into it and you're like, oh my God, no, I want this, but I don't think I can handle it. I don't know what to do with it when I get there. This is too fast. Because let me tell you, once you start really believing, shit unfolds like crazy. These past 2 weeks have been wild for me. But kind of just sitting back and really tuning into all the synchronicities that are happening day in and day out. I'm talking like every little thing, from if I picked something up and I dropped it, to the song that comes on the radio, to if I walk outside and it was cloudy and the sun comes out as soon as I go outside. I'm talking about all those little things. To me, those are things that, one, help time slow down, and two, help me really be intentional with what I'm taking out of the situation. We're on a constant path of self-discovery if we choose to stay in that mind frame. Otherwise, we just kind of feel like we're here, we're set, and now, we're ready for battle because the world does nothing but shit on you. I'll tell you, if you're thinking that, and that's your experience, and you're kind of like, yeah, well, it's easy for her to say, but not so much. How much have you really tried it? And furthermore, if you are thinking I'm on some hippy-dippy bullshit right now, you're right. But what about, the idea that your best thinking got you here? So if you're listening to this and it's because you want, to gain something better for your life, or you just want to maybe figure out an answer or whatever, any kind of reason, something led you here, consider that, how much experience do you have in believing yourself fully? You've believed the negative side of it, and that's working out or not working out for you. So what about changing your mind for the other side. It's exactly the same. You just have to really believe and give your energy into what you want to see happen, and you'll begin to train your thoughts and your brain to see things as just that, not so much hurdles and obstacles and things to trip over. It's more or less like, okay, all right, I'm going to go this way a little bit. All right, about this way a little bit. Okay, I'll slow down a little bit. I'm moving too fast. It keeps you humble, keeps me humble. I'll speak in the I. This is my experience. But I would imagine that you guys could have similar experiences in your own way. But yeah, if your best thinking got you here, then what is the harm in trying something else? What is it Einstein? It says, keep trying the same thing and hoping for a different result. That's called insanity. You're damn right. It is insanity. You feel insane when you're just trying to kind of barge through life and hope to God that you come out alive and that, you get something out of the deal. What the hell? That's not a spiritual experience. To me, that sounds like an evil experience. And when I say they or that's what I'm talking about is these evil powers that be, the yang to the yin. I still need to figure that one out. But challenge yourself to believe in yourself and see what the hell happens. Try it just for like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, even maybe 5 minutes, whatever. But be intentional with your thoughts. What do you want to see happen? Start daydreaming about it. Start picturing it. Start manifesting it like we say we do. But what we probably really do is have a good thought about it and then shit on it with our own negative experiences. And then other people chime in too. Think about who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with. Are they in negative headspaces all the time? Are they constantly complaining? Are they constantly bitching about something? If they are, please understand that you are in nothing but a soup pot. You cannot have your carrots taste one way in the same pot and have, something else taste different if they're all in the same pot. Did that even make sense? But I think you get what I'm saying. Surround yourself with people that are doing what makes them happy, or not even that basic, but surround yourself, with people that speak to you in a soulful way, in a way that they inspire you or that you feel good being around them, because they're not just constantly bitching about something or complaining about something or comparing something or starting drama or talking shit, whatever. You get it. But damn, I can ramble. It's 17, almost 18 minutes. All right. I'm going to try to tie this up here. This thing's making me sweat. But yeah, challenge you to try it. Maybe even just for 5 minutes. Believe in what you want to see and see how it works out for you. Your best thinking got you here. So if it's not working for you, why do you keep following your own direction? All right. Thanks for coming to my Jen Talk.